okay, we have a nested root, but it's still isolated. So what I would recommend to do is square both sides. So I just want to go through that. I mean, certainly I rewrote the equation down for you. Whoops, sorry about that. I rewrote the equation for you. And all I did over here was squared both sides, right? Relatively simple. The right side, basically 5x plus 3 plus the radical, 24x squared plus 15. The radical would be 24x squared plus 15. The other side's also relatively simple. We've been doing this for a while. It looks really reasonable. The only difference now is it seems like I'm doing this over here for you. In the past, I would have just written that down. But now what I'm writing down instead, I'm writing this instead. All right? Let me erase. And then the question goes is, what did I do next? And again, we're just looking through the key, making sure I understand things. And I guess what I did was, maybe some simplifications in the problem. And it looks kind of curious to me what happened over there. And let me go through it with you. And, if I do it, this thing over here, relatively simple. It's 5x minus 3. I'm sorry, plus 3. And then what I notice over here, they would just simply disappear. So what would I be left off with? Well, twice that radical. And I notice I did something interesting over here as well. Let me get my eraser out. I'm just working through the key at this point. And notice I multiplied it out. And 2x times 3x, 2x squared, minus 4x plus 15 is 11x minus 10. All right? Then what did I do? It looks like I squared both sides. Relatively simple. I took this, I squared both sides, and I get this. And then I multiplied it out. Relatively simple. 24x squared, 44x minus 40 equals 24x squared plus 15. Subtract 24x squared from both sides. And then let's see what else you do. I guess you'd add 40 to both sides, 55. Looks relatively simple. And then divide both sides by 44. All right, let me write that down for you. X equals 55 over 44. Divide top and bottom by 11, you get 5/4. All right? The question is it a correct answer? And that's a big if. I mean, certainly I did a lot of squarings and stuff. I could have introduced an error into the problem by doing that. And you may wonder what it is. I'll give you a simple example. If I had minus 1 equals 1 and squared both sides, it becomes a true statement. But this is not true. All right? So let's take a look at it. And again, it's tough to check, but it's only one number to check, so it's not that bad. What are you going to get? I'll write this over here very carefully, too, by the way. Let's see. You're going to get 5 halves plus 5, which is going to be 15 halves. Plus, let's write this down. What do you get there? You're going to get 15 quarters. I'll write that down for you. Minus 2. Well, it's going to be 15 minus 8, which can be 7/4. All right? Don't panic yet. Keep going through this. And again, I'm still checking 5/4, right? And let me just erase this stuff over here. Before I go forward, I want to check myself. 5/4, that's 5 halves, 15 halves. Let's see, 15 quarters minus 8 quarters, 7 quarters. All right, let's keep going. This is going to be 25 quarters. Whoops. 25 quarters plus 3. Let's do this over here. Plus the root. Oh, that's going to be a tough one, isn't it? And let's write this down. 24 times 25 sixteenths plus 15. Well, I'm going to say 8, right? So it goes in 3 and 2 times. So you get 75 over 2 plus 30 over 2. That's 105 over 2. All right? Not so bad. I can keep going, though, right? Let me get my eraser out. And again, I realize for some students say, why would I check? Why don't I just look at the answer? You can't trust the guy. I want to point out you probably shouldn't be trusting anyone. Let's keep going. All right, let's take a look at this. So, what do you get over here? I'm going to say root 30 over 2 plus root 7 over 2. Let's do this, other side. It's difficult. And I get, I'll write this down for you. It's the root. You know what, I'm kind of running out of room, so I'll do that elsewhere, all right? So, right over here. So, 30, root 30 over 2 plus root 7 over 2 equals, I got to figure this part out over here. And looking at it, 12 and 25, 37 quarters plus, that's going to be the root of 210 over 2. And keep going with this. It's tough though, isn't it? And I'm going to put a 2 there and then a 4 over here. So I get root 30 over 2, root 7 over 2 is equal to, well, that's 2 now, and I get this over here. Kind of interesting, right? So what are they really claiming then? They're claiming that root 30 plus root 7 is equal to the root. Well, the numbers look fine. I'm just not sure if it's correct or not. Well, you know what? You could unnest the root. I'm not saying you couldn't, but I'm just going to square both sides and see what happens. And what do you get? 30 plus 7 plus 2 times, well, 30 times 7 is 210, right? And what do you get over there? 37 plus 2 root 210. Certainly makes sense, all right? Was it tough to check? Yes. Is it worthwhile checking? Yes. Please check, all right?